Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Noir Bar with me, your host, Toby. Today, we're going to do a fantastic film. If you like movies like Bonnie and Clyde, True Romance, Natural Born Killers, Wild at Heart, you're going to love today's offering from the Noir Bar. The OG, the original of the boy, girl with a gun on the run movies. It is 1950s. Deadly is the female. That's actually the title that the United Artists released this movie under. It did not go well. This movie then was changed back to its original title, Gun Crazy, from 1950. What a better name. Deadly is the female. What in the world? The King brothers, just to give you an idea of how badly that title hurt this film. The King brothers, who I looked up to see, I wanted to say, famous for such films as, but I, I couldn't really, I don't really know any of their films. They're from, they did about 27 films, and I did look up that all of them made money, except this one, Gun Crazy. Their magnum opus, their super influential film. They're like, this is one of Quentin Tarantino's and Martin Scorsese's favorite films. That film, that one lost money. Now, I don't know how much Deadly is the female title had to do with that. Um, United Artists really blew that. But yeah, there you go. Don't ever let anyone tell you that, box office has anything to do with the quality of the film. This movie is really incredible, right? This movie is way ahead of its time. It's really ahead of its time. It has a bit of a throwback to sort of 1930s gangster films. There's some really kinetic action scenes where they're driving around in, some older cars, and it sort of looks like that. But really, it's really ahead of its time, right? There are scenes, that could easily be in the 1980s, 1990s, even today. This film has had an incredible influence on sort of, girl boy road movies. That if you like that sort of genre, you're gonna love this one. This is 87 minutes, right? 87 minutes, and it's non-stop, right? This is such a great film. It has to be seen, right? So this, just to give you a quick plot summary, we've got John Dahl, we've got Peggy Cummins. John Dahl, if he's from Rope, if you know John Hitchcock's Rope, he's one of the two guys, the less nervous one of the two killers, right? And he's great in this, and he plays Bart. And we meet Bart right at the beginning. He's a young lad. He steals a gun from a store, from a gun store, and then he goes to trial. And we learn very quickly at the beginning that he loves guns, just loves them. Don't know why, but he just loves them, right? Really loves them. But we also learn from this intro that he hates hurting things, hates killing things, hates we see a scene where he shoots, I think, a little a chick or something like that with it, and he's so upset. His friends attest that he just really hates hurting anyone, but he loves guns. Fast forward, he gets back from the war and being in the army. Obviously, he got his gun fix there, right? And now he might get a job with a gun company, right? He's thinking about what to do with his life, and his buddies take him to a carnival where he meets Annie Laurie Starr. And Annie Laurie Starr, played by Peggy Cummings, who's this really cute, diminutive Irish actress. She is a ball of fire. So her act is the sharpshooter act, right? So, we get the scene where we see how good she is with a gun. Then an audience member, which is our friend Bart, he challenges her, which is part of the act, right? And is one of the first people to ever beat her, and he joins this traveling circus. Long story short, and it is very short at the beginning, this is just the intro. They fall in love, deeply, madly in love. It's a genuine love story. Like a lot of those movies I mentioned, Bonnie and Clyde, Natural Born Killers, they really are love stories with this crazy crime background. This young couple is in love. Now, they're very different. Bart doesn't want to hurt anything. Laurie has a past. Laurie may have killed someone in the past, right? Laurie, right at the beginning, tells us that she wants action, right? She does not want a boring life. And these two, they leave the circus and they go on a crime spree. And that's the movie. They go on a crime spree, and their crimes are shown in the most fun, kinetic way. They have a really famous 3.5 minute single take heist shot. It's brilliantly done. It's got the director in the back. Well, to show it could work, right? They had the director got in the back seat and was filming this just to show the producers that it would work. And they could see that it did work, right? His director's name is Lewis. Let me get that right here. Joseph Lewis is his name. And so this whole scene is shot from the back seat of the car. No cuts, right? Just, I'm not going to spoil any of it, how it happens, but man, it's great. And that's the scene that you could totally see being done in the 1990s. You could see Tarantino doing this scene, right? The scene where they're pulling up and just their banter in the car, which which I read somewhere was improvised. I don't know that for sure, but I mean that's way ahead of its time. It's incredible that scene, right? Then there are more action, sort of, where it basically follows them in their crime spree, and each crime has its own new revelation, and it's really, building to these really great character arcs between not just these two, but I think this couple's character arc, right? As this couple, let's face it, they didn't really know each other. As they get to know each other and they see obviously their similarities and their differences, and all that starts to those tensions start to build. They're on the run, and it never stops. It never lets up. It's got just really it's filmed beautifully. It reminds me of Night of the Hunter, although that one is much more surreal, dreamlike, beautiful than this one. But this one has that element, just really dreamlike and surreal in ways. The ending has this really, again, sort of dreamlike setting, and uh, uh, just sort of really cool camera angles and the fog, and really beautifully done, right? This film, just the themes of redemptive versus toxic love, love addiction. There's a scene where they try to split up, and they can't because they're just so drawn to each other, and it trumps everything. And will it ruin them? Will they get away? Will they be able to build that typical, white picket fence life that Bart wants, or will they be able to build that, wild, fun New York nightclub life that Laurie wants? You know, is this going to happen for them? And you're going to you're going to go on one of the best road trip crime movies that you can. This would be a great one to pair, like if you're going to do a movie night, with two or three films, or, it'd be great in a movie house, if they showed this movie, Gun Crazy, then maybe Bonnie and Clyde. And then, I mean, take your pick, you could go with Wild at Heart, David Lynch, right? You could go with True Romance or Natural Born Killers, both, I believe, written by Quentin Tarantino. Although Natural Born Killers had a giant rework from the director, escapes me right now, Oliver Stone, right? So, uh, you can see that he was influenced by this film. That would be a great sort of three movie showing at any theater. Just the boy meets girl, and this really subverts that boy meets girl sweet story, right? I mean, Bart is kind of a sweet, nice guy. He's just got this. Well, he's got a gun fetish, and then he gets a Laurie Star fetish. And this whole guns don't kill people, people kill people, right? I mean, in this movie, the Lori fetish is definitely worse than the gun fetish. And the arc that each character goes on and the couple goes on, it's worth every one of the 87 minutes. Is this a film noir? Absolutely. Is there a femme fatale? It's the main girl. Bart is just going with the flow, which is kind of a film noir thing. There's not a lot of agency that the lead character has, and definitely here, he's just being led around by his love and by Lori. You've got the just the fate going against everybody. This is a classic noir. This has to be watched. This is really um, it, an important film in that it really sparked, I don't want to call it genre, but maybe a subgenre of that boy meets girl crime road movie. I hope you love this one. 1950, John Dahl, Peggy Cummings in the amazing King Brothers only flop. Deadly is no gun crazy. Now get busy watching or get busy dying.